Welcome back, viewers. Just before the break, we were actually talking about there is a risk of people losing a lot of money to Alan, and we asked about your opinion. We couldn't quite finish off. We went to the break.
Yeah, look, to reiterate once again, I think that we have to look at it from there's 2 points of view almost to everything. If people go in undereducated with a low skill set, they're obviously going to get a poor result. They're certainly experience is something that through the course of, I've been involved with the market since '87. I started trading in 1987, the '87 crash just before.
Wow.
I've been around a long time. I've been trading since I was 23 years old, and I made lots of mistakes, and one of them was to believe that it wasn't my fault. And when I look back now, I can honestly say that some of the steps I took in the early days when I was young, I had no guidance, I had no mentor. Well, I was just doing things wrong.
Okay.
And then I learned from that, and then from that, you kind of rewrite your own understanding. And then we went through the tech wreck in 2000, which was all the technical stocks. I made a lot of money, and then once again gave part of it back when I shouldn't have, because of lack, I suppose, not lack of guidance, but focus on what is important. So over time, I've had no one to stand on my shoulder and say, you know, this is the time to sit on the sidelines. The market's overheated. I've never had that ability personally to do that. So what I found now is that's what I give to other people, a framework where they can come along and go, I don't want to lose a lot of money. If they do it correctly, they should mitigate that from the start. That should be part of their objective. The first thing I do to people is say, what are your objectives? You know, both from a business. I call it the business of trading. I think too many people just think they're going to do a little bit of trading, and I think they give it no respect. I think that they need to give it more respect, because it's one of the most scalable business that you can use. There's no stock, no rent, no staff. There's no VAT. There's a lot of things that make life of the trader, when you get it right, is way better than most other businesses.
And income's not taxable in the UK, is it? Or does it depend on what?
It depends on how your
depends.
accountant. You need to talk to your accountant about that. Some of the tools that you're allowed to trade now are there's no tax paid on those. But when you drill down into them, you'll find that the brokers are encouraged using this as a sales tool to get you into things that are probably the broker has the advantage.
So that's something they need to watch out as well.
It is. It's all about education, you know, and certainly a good accountant and a good educator are the building blocks. You don't want to. A perfect example was, here's a success story that turned into a disaster. Somebody made 300,000 Australian dollars, and they were above the tax. It was a friend of mine, made 300,000 just before the end of the tax year. Yeah. Okay. Had to claim it and declare it as income. Later on, after the tax year, lost that money again, didn't have the money to pay the tax. Now, there's a risk that most people don't think about. So there's systemic risk, that the whole system falls down. There's technical risk, but there's also things like tax risk, you know, and there's also personal risk. So people who are educated on the building blocks of being successful as a trader, it isn't about buying some shares. You have to treat it as a business, and you have to step back and look at it and go, where can I be with this in 5 years? Most people, I find, are too impatient. They need to learn the basics. There are learning curves. What is it? How does it work? Okay. When to trade? If you know what it is, how it works, and when.
And when to come out as well.
When to come out, probably very important. When to take your profit, yeah? You're going to be in a much better place than if you just know what it is. So I found that with thousands of traders I've traded, until a trader knows what it is, how it works, and when to trade, get in and out, which are both as important as each other, they're not going to make a lot of money because they haven't got all the tools. Okay. It's like being a boxer and put one hand behind your back.
There's steps to knowing those, and
it's a process. It's a process, and it's a process of either elimination or education, or you just inspiration. Most professional traders who've traded themselves, I've found, have developed those skills over time and have kind of fallen over them at the right time. Have been lucky. What we do is offer, you know, it's not a one-glove-fits-all kind of role that I fulfill, is because every trader is differently. They've got different amounts of time, they've got different amounts of experience, they've got different amounts of money, they've got different objectives, what they're trying to achieve from their trading. So one of the things we do is we look at the individual and we kind of set out a basic program that will fit in with them, so it's completely flexible, which
Okay.
allows someone that works in a factory to come home at night and do a couple of hours and just slowly. It's going to take them longer than someone that sold their business is now sitting at home trading full time.
Trading full time, yeah.
So it's the
It's
real.
doable in whether you're doing it part time or full time.
The question was about risk and how much they can win or lose, and
Yeah.
I think it's actually not a question about risk. I think it's about a question of education.
Yes.
Education, yeah. Education is actually the backbone of this business, I think, after listening to both of your opinions.
It's not just,
Yeah.
I mean, this business, wherever you go.
Most business, yeah. I
Yes.
mean, it's true, you know, if you're selling something,
It's
product
it's
knowledge is the
anything.
most important.
Yes.
It's anything.
Yeah, anything in life, yeah.
You need to know how
But
it
in
all
terms
works.
of trading, you know, there's a rumor, obviously, people say, oh, I've invested in stocks and shares, I've lost it. But what they're not realizing is that they haven't had the right education into it. By having the right education, they can be very successful.
Okay,
That's the ultimate. isn't it?
Perfect example is someone gets a tip from a taxi driver. Someone gets a tip from the brother-in-law, and they go and buy some stocks. Now, whether they make money out of that or not, what they've done is they've created for themselves a very slippery slope, because they've not developed any skill, they've not developed any knowledge of the industry. They've basically might as well gone and gambled or it's a dart at a wall. They could make a lot of money. They could have been very lucky. Very few do. So the trick is to remove all the speculation and put a structure in place to ensure if I'm going from A to B, it's just like a roadmap. You know, just like today, coming to the studio today, I had to map out my journey here, and there was an incident at the train station, and I had a secondary journey mapped out to get here because I couldn't get down to the tube in Euston Station when I came in from the train, but I already had a second way of getting here. I knew I couldn't walk, it was too far in the time, so I knew I could get a cab, and I also knew that there was a second tube station and a different route to get here. So by mapping it out, just like we do in life, and knowing where you're going, what you're trying to achieve when you get there, and having waypoints that you can measure, is the only way that we can develop.
Interesting, yeah.
Whether it's a small business or a large business, big businesses don't become big businesses by accident. They have an understanding of the market they're in, the risk that they're taking to the reward, and quite often they use the OPM, OPT, other people's money to fund the business, and other people's time to work in the business. So potentially, your Richard Bransons, that's their skill. They make a lot of money from business, and then they take that money and they place it into assets. They buy islands and they buy other companies.
Yeah,
What's small, the guy who works in an office, or he works for the council, or he works in an advertising agency, and there's something inherently not wrong but missing from his life is that he needs some significance. And one of the greatest things in life is to gain personal significance, and trading is a route to that because it gives you freedom, and it helps you build a feeling of well-being because you've done it yourself. And I think that is an overriding, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is that, we need security and we need variety, and significance.
For example, like, I've heard you out now, and sounds very interesting, to be honest. What's the next step if I was interested in getting into trading in terms of finding
question.
out? What would be your advice on the next step on getting into the trading world?
I wouldn't use the word advice. I would use what I would use the word is structured, a structured critical approach to getting what you want. And if you don't know what you want, it's highly if you don't know where you're going, a map's going to be of no use to you. So what you need to do is establish from that person what they're trying to achieve from this opportunity. I see it as the business of trading. I don't see it as just trading and doing this and doing a trading course or a trading program. I see it as a business that's got many benefits to many, many people: time, flexibility, part-time, full-time. You can integrate it in. When you get good, you can start using your pension money now. So if you qualify, you can bring in access money. You can even borrow money. A lot of traders trade their family's accounts and develop a business that way. So it can grow very quickly. So the first thing is, A, have I got the time and the patience? B, what's my objective? And C, where am I, where am I going? How am I going? And am I going to go on my own? And one of the things I say is that, you need to share other people's stories. You need to share other people's journeys, because we can say, don't go down that route. It's not going to be profitable if you just repeat things that we've done wrong or we've seen other traders do, being too aggressive.
So what about when someone's learning? I mean, you know, do they have to invest their own money into it?
Okay.
And
Great question. I have a program where people come on board, and at the beginning, when they've got the least amount of experience and they've got the least amount of skills, they would not use any of their own money. In fact, they wouldn't use any money at all. There's software
how
now.
do they learn?
They've got software programs now where you can go onto the internet and you can open up an account with any broker now and they'll give you free money. It's not real money,
okay.
it's monopoly money.
Paper money, they call it. Is it?
It's a demonstration money, and it allows you to access the account. What we use those to teach the person. Now, right now, they've got no skin in the game. Okay. They've really got no commitment, but they can learn in a perfectly simulated environment as to what they're doing right or wrong. So when they fall, they don't skin their knees. You know, when they lose, they do something silly, they make a mistake through to inexperience, then prove that they're right, and then put a small amount of their own money in. That's the next step. And then once they've proven it, then they could increase that, knowing that they've already been through 2 phases where they've been successful.
Okay.
And that's how you do it.
Interesting. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I mean, whatever, I mean, Alan has said, yes, basically, I mean, the risk factor, yes, and knowing how to go in, how to get out. Basically, those ones are the main ones, and on top of the list is the patience.
Okay. Patience is
yes.
important in the business.
Yes, if anybody doesn't have patience, then there is no point doing this. Because even, I mean, from my own example, I can say that a few weeks ago, I bought one company shares, which is basically penny shares, which I don't advise or recommend to anybody unless they have plenty of liquid cash. So, yes, I bought around about $250,000 worth of stock, and I'm around about $120,000 down. But I've bought it for a long term.
Okay, so initially when you bought the share, you knew that you're buying it for long term, so you're going to wait it to go down and then probably ride the trade.
Yes, but I mean, over there, if somebody else was there, they would be possibly panicking.
We're coming to the end of the show, and I'm going to ask a quick question to Alan. Alan, I think we've got about a minute left.
Okay, cool.
NTV viewers, if they're interested, what can they do?
Well, what we do is we put on live 3-hour introduction workshops, or if we get too many people, we will do it online. So what I could offer, if you like, is to put on a free workshop for NTV viewers, where we could actually invite them along, whether to actually a nice room somewhere in a hotel, or we can do it on the. If we get a lot of people interested, obviously, we can do it on the internet.
Okay, then I'll just say to the viewers, if you're interested in finding out more about this or the seminar Alan's just talking about, then please, the next step is to email us for an invitation, and email us at businesstoday@ntveurope.net. That's businesstoday@ntveurope.net, and we'll send you further information if you want in regards to or being in touch with either gentlemen. Sorry, carry on. So, is it the seminar that you do?
It's a workshop, basically. It's an introduction. It's an ABC where we start there, and this is what it is. This is how it works. And we do look at risk, and we do look at reward, but we also look at how it would fit around different people, because it really is that dovetailing is the key to the success.
Okay.
It needs to suit the individual, and they need to be exposed to that.
That'll be interesting anyway. I hope my viewers are
always
in touch with us.
Always interesting.
I'm going to be finishing. Dear viewers, we have come to the end of the show for today. I'd like to thank my guests for coming onto the show, and obviously, and as always, thank you for watching. Well, viewers, I hope you enjoyed the show, and hopefully this has opened your eyes about the world of trading and the opportunities. Remember, you can still email us with any further questions you may have. I promise they will all be answered. Also, I would like you to get in touch with us if you know of someone who is a successful entrepreneur to appear on our shows. Please do get in touch, and we will do our very best to meet all your requirements. Please do email us at businesstoday@ntveurope.net. That's businesstoday@ntveurope.net. Don't forget, viewers, please do visit our website, which is businesstodayshow.co.uk. Viewers, here's a little something as always. This is a quote by Albert Einstein. Education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. Well, viewers, that's it from me today. Please do remember to tune in on the 15th of November at 5 p.m. And for now, tomorrow's business is business today.